Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to my 2024 tier ranking video. I fear we are getting almost to that point in January where it's a bit too late to do 2024 wrap-ups, but I really want to make this video and I really don't care, so we're just gonna go for it. Before we get started, my name is Emily, I'm 27 years old, and I like to make books and reading my entire personality. Now, let's get into it. In 2024, I read 61 books in total, and one of them was actually a reread, so I read it twice in 1 year. So I have 60 books loaded into my tier ranking. I'm going to give basic thoughts and opinions and put them into the categories on the books and not go super in depth. But I did post another video with my favorite reads of 2024 in general, if you're curious. So I'm going to start screen recording now, and we'll go through what my tiers are and how I'm going to rank these. Okay, so here are my tiers. The first one is Altered My Brain Chemistry, which means it's over 5 stars, it was amazing, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it, and it completely consumed me. Next is Very Easy 5 stars, which is, I obviously gave it 5 stars, but it wasn't that next level where it was infinity stars, obsessed with it, above 5 stars. Then I have Almost There, just missing a little something in my opinion, so it just needed a little something more in order to get it to that 5-star. Get it to that 5-star feeling. Then I have To Me, just okay, but I would still recommend it, so maybe it just wasn't my cup of tea, but it might be somebody else's cup of tea. Then I have Could Have Done Without It, meaning I didn't need to read it. I don't remember what happened in it. I don't even maybe really remember reading it, or it just wasn't for me. And then last I have Finished with Regrets, meaning I should have DNF'd it, or I was unhappy with the ending, something like that. So let's get started. And these are mostly in order of the order that I read them in, but we'll see. I think some of them are slightly out of order. But I did start 2024 with Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, which is the second book in the Divine Rivals duology, and that one is very easily Altered My Brain Chemistry. I absolutely loved Divine Rivals, and Ruthless Vows was no different. The ending of Divine Rivals was just so good, and I couldn't believe we had to wait for Ruthless Vows. Ruthless Vows definitely goes into Altered My Brain Chemistry. Then I read The Witch Collector, which is a fantasy romance. I honestly don't even really remember what happened in this one. I think other people do like it though, so I think I would put this one into me just okay, but would still recommend. I also read Gold, which I think is book 5 in the Plated Prisoner series, and I started off really liking that series, and then it quickly devolved from there. I didn't even read the last book in the series. I think it's called Goldfinch. I had one of my friends tell me what happened about it. So I'm going to put this one in Could Have Done Without It, because I did like the beginning books in this series, but I don't need to finish it. 1,000 Boy Kisses, I read this for a book club. This is 100% Finished with Regrets. I don't like reading books that make me this sad. I was upset reading it. I didn't need to read it. Then I did House of Flame and Shadow, and this is actually one that I know is kind of controversial. Some people really liked it and some people didn't. I liked it. I personally thought that this book was going to bump this series over Throne of Glass for me, which was going to be a hard thing to do, and it didn't. So I'm going to put this one Very Easy 5 stars. It didn't alter my brain chemistry, but it's, how could I not give it 5 stars? The next one I have here is A Study in Drowning, and I think for A Study in Drowning, this kind of goes... I don't know where to put this one. I think this is to me, just okay, but would recommend. I don't really remember what happened in this, but I remember when I was reading it, I felt it was very atmospheric, and I felt the tension, and I felt the emotion of this character, but it wasn't my favorite read from last year. Same goes for Bride by Ali Hazelwood. To me, just okay, but I would recommend it. I think enough said there. If you've read it, you probably agree. Or maybe it is one of the books that you really like. I don't know. Next up is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I'm just going to put Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands up there with that in Altered My Brain Chemistry, because it truly did alter my brain chemistry. Then I have Finley Donovan is Killing It. This one I really liked. I feel like this would make a really good Netflix limited series. It basically follows a mom who like gets wrapped up in this like contract killer scheme. And I don't know, it was just really fun. I definitely think this would make a good Netflix series, like I said. And I did enjoy the other books in the series. So let me just find those ones and I'll put them into their rankings now. So that's Finley Donovan Knocks Them Dead. I think I would still give this one 5 stars. And then I think the other ones would go into almost there, just missing a little something in my opinion. Because again, I still really liked them. I just feel like maybe this series could be like 1 book shorter. I think there's one more coming out later this year. Then I have Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This one might be controversial, but I'm putting this one right into Could Have Done Without It. I really need to be able to root for characters in books, and I didn't find anything redeeming about Magnolia or BJ, so I wasn't enjoying this story. I know why people like it, and I understand it, but for me, I definitely could have done without it. Indigo Ridge is one of those ones where it's a solid romance book. I liked the mystery element to it, so it's not anything groundbreaking. It's really good. I would recommend it, so I'm going to put that in to me just okay, but would still recommend. Then I have The Hurricane Wars, and I think this one is going to go into Could Have Done Without It. I vividly remember reading this book, and the ending was just odd. The male main character, like, had said he had never kissed a girl, and then he just came out with this, like, this crazy smut scene came out of nowhere, and I was like, where is this coming from? You've never kissed a girl before. What's happening here? And I don't know, it wasn't my favorite. I don't think I'm going to read the next one. So I'm going to put Hurricane Wars in Could Have Done Without It. Then I have Lucy Score and the Dead Guy Next Door. That is going into very easy 5 stars as well. This one was super fun. The side characters are really funny. I really liked the banter between the 2 main characters. The rest of the books in this series do devolve a little bit, I would say. The side characters get almost too ridiculous and the plots are completely unbelievable. So I think I would put Lucy Score and the Dead Guy Next Door in very easy 5 stars. And then I think the next book, The Corpse in the Closet, I'll put into almost there, just missing a little something in my opinion. And then I think The Blast from the Past would probably go into Could Have Done Without It. Yeah, I think I like that. Is there one more? Oh yeah, The Body in the Backyard. Okay, that one's going into Could Have Done Without It as well. I knew there was another one. But Lucy Score and the Dead Guy Next Door, absolutely loved it. Okay, up next I have Butcher and Blackbird. I'm surprised I didn't like this one more than I did. I think I'd put this one in, to me, just okay, but would recommend. I don't know, just something about it didn't sit right with me. Then I have Glow of the Everflame. This is the second book in the series, and yeah, right, because Spark of the Everflame is the first one, and then Glow of the Everflame is the second one. And this one, I think, is almost there, just missing a little something in my opinion. The ending was really good, but I think getting to the ending took a while. So I think in the next book in this series, if that, like, beginning part feels a little, like, quicker or it's more, engaging, I think that book and the third book I would rank 5 stars. Okay, then I have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is quite easily altered my brain chemistry. I've talked about that one in a few videos, and I just love the banter, the male main character, the romance, the journey that they take together. It's just so good. Next is First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. I listened to the audiobook for this one, actually. This is a thriller, I think, or more like a mystery. I don't know if I would call it a thriller, but this one is good. It's just okay, though. I would recommend it definitely if you're looking for a thriller. Like, if you haven't read a thriller in a while and maybe you're looking for something like that, I would definitely recommend it. It was a solid thriller mystery type thing. Expiration Dates, Finished with Regrets. I don't even remember anything that happened in that book. Did I even finish it? I definitely did, because it's on this list. I remember nothing about it, though. I didn't need to finish it. I could have DNF'd it. Next is Forget Me Not. Could have done without it. I think the male main character in this was just mean, like, and not in a cute way. Like, he was just a jerk, and I didn't see anything remotely redeeming about him in this romance. So that one is a could have done without it from me. All right, then I have The Hemlock Queen. This is the second book after The Foxglove King, and I absolutely loved that book. I don't hear it talked about that often, and if you're looking for like a romantasy where the relationships are just so good, but there's like a true plot to it and like there's something happening and it's not just the romance, I would highly recommend The Foxglove King. So this is the second book, and this was a very easy 5 stars for me. The third book comes out later this year, and I'm really excited for it. All right, then Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is a very easy 5 stars from me. I actually didn't like Happy Place, which was her book from the previous year. I think I gave Happy Place like a 2 stars. So I was a little wary about Funny Story, but I did really like Funny Story. So that is a very easy 5 stars from me. Okay, then I have The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. I could have done without this one, and I think I'm in the, that's not a popular opinion. I think a lot of people do really like this one. I was just kind of bored. I think I tried to read it on a flight, and I brought it on this flight specifically because it was really short, and I thought I'd be able to finish it like throughout the course of the flight. And I don't even think I got 50 pages in the course of like a 5-hour flight because it didn't keep my attention at all. That's The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. I don't know, it just wasn't for me. The Wishing Game, this one I think was supposed to be sweet, but kind of weirded me out a little bit. So I'm going to put this in could have done without it. I don't know, just the relationship something was a little off with me. It wasn't my favorite. So clearly I had a bad run at this part of the year, because then I had Powerless, and this is also a surprising opinion, but Powerless, I could have done without it. I don't remember a second of this book. I didn't think any of the banter was natural. It felt very forced. I don't know, this one just wasn't for me. It wasn't my favorite. I know a lot of people really do like it, so I guess I could put it into me just okay, but would recommend, but I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it and could have done without it. Next is Heartless Hunter. I really liked this one. This is a very easy 5 stars from me. I really like books where like the reader knows something that the characters don't, and I think that just kind of like ups the stakes, and I think Heartless Hunter was a book that did that, and it kept my attention, and I was really engaged when I was reading it. I really liked Heartless Hunter. Then Lovely War. I'm a true Greek mythology lover from my Percy Jackson days back in the day. So Lovely War, as soon as I heard about it, I was interested in it. So I'm going to put this one... I did like this, but it wasn't my favorite, so I'm going to put this one in Almost There, just missing a little something in my opinion. Then I have Not in Love. This was not my favorite from Ali Hazelwood. I really love her other books. I think I gave all of her other books 5 stars. I think Not in Love I gave 4 stars. It just wasn't my favorite. So that one, to me, just okay, but I still would recommend it if you like Ali Hazelwood. A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. This one is an Almost There, just missing a little something in my opinion. I think things escalated a little quickly in this book, and then I felt like the ending came out of nowhere. But overall, I did think it was really sweet, and I know a lot of people didn't absolutely love this one, but I did, and I still would recommend it. It just wasn't quite 5 stars for me. Next is Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I really liked this one. I gave this 5 stars. I used to love thrillers, and I don't read them as much anymore, but I do still try to read Riley Sager's newest release when it comes out. And this one was just almost endearing. I felt like the main character I was really rooting for, and I felt like no matter how many times he got knocked down, he would get back up, and I just really liked him. So I gave Middle of the Night 5 stars. I think I've given most of his other books 5 stars as well. So if you want to give Riley Sager's books a try, I would definitely recommend checking them out. This one was good. Then I have The Unwedding. I listened to this one on audio when I had a lot of driving to do in one day. I had like a 5-hour drive to do, so I specifically picked this audiobook to listen to on my drive, and I really liked it. I loved the like male side character. I thought he was like just like such a breath of fresh air in this book, and I really liked the mystery. I was engaged. I think this is an Almost There, just missing a little something in my opinion. It wasn't like the craziest thriller I've ever read, but it was pretty good. A Fate Inked in Blood. This one, to me, is just okay, but I think I would recommend it. I will probably read the second book in this series, but I felt like the beginning I was really interested in. I was hooked immediately. Then the middle kind of dragged, and then because the middle was dragging, the end didn't really thrill me that much. But I was also reading this when my flight was delayed by approximately 8 hours, so that might also have something to do with it because I was very frustrated at that time. So maybe I'll read the second one, we'll see. Golden Girl by Ellen Hilderbrand. This was a very easy 5 stars for me. I'm not a mother, and this is about a mother, so I thought maybe I wouldn't be able to relate to it as much. But just something about all of these characters and the love that this mother had for her children, it really hit home for me. I loved it so much. I finished it and I had like tears in my eyes. So Golden Girl by Ellen Hilderbrand, that one it was really good. And then I read another Ellen Hilderbrand right after, that's Swan Song, and it was her last book in the Nantucket series. This one was still really good. All of her books are good, but this one just wasn't my favorite one from her. So that one's going to go into Almost There, just missing a little something in my opinion. All right, then we have The Unmaking of June Farrow. This one, I don't know where to put this one. I think this one I'm going to put into To Me Just Okay, but still would recommend. Yeah, it was good. It wasn't great to me, but I think other people would really like the writing style of this. I was interested to see like where it was going to go. If you like The Time Traveler's Wife and like that kind of story with time travel, you would like this. Next is Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca. I bought this solely because of the cover. I loved this cover and like the vibe of Florida but spooky season, and I thought it was like the best transition to read when we were transitioning from summer to fall. This one I would recommend. It was just okay. It escalated very quickly, like the romance. I think my review on Goodreads literally says like, well, that escalated quickly but still cute. So I liked that one, but not my favorite. Then I read You with a View by Jessica Joyce. I could have done without this one. I don't really have much more to say about that one. It was fine. Then I read Phantasma. I actually don't know where to put this one because it was one of my favorite reads from last year, but surprisingly I didn't give it 5 stars, and that was because I felt like the beginning and the ending were a little confusing, but I loved the middle, and I felt like the middle was so good it made up for the beginning and the end. So I actually didn't give this one 5 stars, but I think I'm going to put it into very easy 5 stars anyway, because I don't think it was missing anything. So we'll put that one up there in very easy 5 stars, even though it wasn't technically a 5-star read. Okay, then The Love of My Afterlife. This is a romance. This one was really like quirky and cute, and I really liked it. I think if you like Ali Hazelwood, you would like this book. I gave this one 5 stars, so I'm going to put that one up there with a very easy 5 stars. Then I read The God of the Woods, and I think this is advertised as a thriller, or it's not really a thriller though, so I don't think you should go into it expecting a thriller. It's more of a literary fiction with a mystery element to it, and I did like this one. I did give it 5 stars. But I think a lot of people go into it expecting a thriller and are a little disappointed when it's more of like a literary fiction. So that's just something to be aware of. Then I read Wayward. This one, I'm torn between Could Have Done Without It and To Me Just Okay. I think I would definitely recommend this. The subject matter just kind of upset me at times. So it's just not my favorite type of book to read, but at the end it is a story of like woman and resilience, and it had a happy message at the end. But when I was reading it, I don't really like reading about this topic, and it kind of made me a little sad at times, but it was still good. Then Out on a Limb. I loved this one. This was a very easy 5 stars. Really cute. It starts at a Halloween party, so if you want to save this one for the fall, I think that's like kind of cute to do because it does start at a Halloween party. But this one was just really heartwarming and sweet and deep, and I really loved it. Next is Assistant to the Villain. This one is almost there, just missing a little something. This one was cute. It was fun. I felt like I was reading the movie Ella Enchanted, or like I was envisioning a cartoon when I was reading it. Like I was picturing the characters looking like they were in the Shrek movies. It just is like a fairy tale brought to life in cartoon version. And the same thing goes for Apprentice to the Villain. That's the second one in that series, so I'm just going to put that one up there right now. Then Fragile Sanctuary. Fragile Sanctuary, this one is reliable. It's a reliable Kindle Unlimited romance. I like it. There's some mystery to it. Would recommend it. It just wasn't 5 stars. So that one is gonna go in Almost There, just missing a little something. Then I read Cackle. This is a like witchy fall book. It's great to read during spooky season. I'm going to put this one in very easy 5 stars, but just be aware that nothing really happens in it. It's kind of just like a slice of life with magical realism thrown in, but I really liked the writing and I gave it 5 stars, but just nothing really happens. So that's just something to be aware of. All right, then I read Quicksilver by Callie Hart, and that is going straight up to Altered My Brain Chemistry. I have not stopped talking about this book since I read it, and this is the book that I immediately reread right when I finished it, and I read it on audio that time. So if I had 2 of these on here, I would put the second version right up into Altered My Brain Chemistry as well, because the audiobook was that good. Then I had Fear the Flames. This one finished with regrets. I don't even know how to explain this book. I feel really bad, but it really did nothing for me. I felt like each chapter was just so disjointed and the banter was really forced. I don't even really know what happened. I feel like it was just a bunch of tropes thrown together with no plot. Then I read Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. This is the Caraval novella for Christmas, for the holidays. And this one, it was cute. It's kind of hard to rank a Christmas novella, but it was good. I'm going to put it in Almost There, just missing a little something. Then I read If We Were Villains. This one is also straight to Altered My Brain Chemistry. I'm still thinking about the end of this book, and it's been like 2 months since I've read it. I loved If We Were Villains so much. As a former theater kid and AP, like English literature and language student, I ate this one up. So If We Were Villains, if you haven't gotten to this one yet, highly recommend. Then I read The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, and this one is also hard because it is a Christmas book. So I'm going to put this one in... I think I'll put this one in To Me Just Okay, but would recommend, and that's only because, like, I'm not going to recommend that to you until December, so I don't know, it's kind of hard to rank that one as well because it is a Christmas book. Then I have another Christmas book. I'm going to do the same thing. That's Winter Stroll by Ellen Hilderbrand. She has like 4 Christmas-themed books that take place on Nantucket, and this is the second one in that series. I had read the first one 2 Christmases ago, so I'm going to put that one right with The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. And I think because I'm doing that, I have to move Spectacular too. So I'm going to put all of those Christmas books together in To Me Just Okay, but would recommend, but only in December. All right. Unfortunately, that leaves me with Metal Slinger and Love Redesigned. This is kind of a sad way to end this, but Metal Slinger, this one is finished with regrets. I loved this book until the last like 5 pages, and that's just because I don't enjoy endings like this. I know a lot of people really did like this book, and they thought the ending was great, but to me it really didn't make sense given the point of view that the story is told from. So that one I'm putting in Finished with Regrets, even though I did really like it, and I definitely would give this author's work another try when she comes out with a different series, but I probably won't be reading the second book in this series. And then finally I have Love Redesigned. This one I'm going to put in Could Have Done Without, and that's just because, and that's just not my favorite kind of romance to read. But it was good. I liked the mental health representation in it. So I personally could have done without it, but I think a lot of other people do like it. And that is all 60 of my books from 2024 ranked in our tiers. So you can see I have 6 ranked up here in Altered My Brain Chemistry. And then here in the middle, it's pretty even. I have the same amount of very easy 5 stars as compared to Me Just Okay would recommend. And I think overall, the top half of this list is a lot heavier than the bottom half of the list. So that just means I had a really great reading year. There were a few books that I could have done without, but that's okay. You know, as you read more books, you kind of refine your taste and learn what you like. I feel like I definitely learned more about the types of books that I like last year, and I'm really looking forward to all of the books I'm going to read in 2025. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments if you read any of these books as well, or let me know how your 2024 reading year was overall. That's it for me for today. Bye for now.